Digging through old crates, just creating the sound. Cause it's all about the music.
What's going on, everybody out there? It's your boy Mood616 here, and yes, I'm finally back with a brand new hip-hop related video. And yes, of course, this is going to be my annual yearly wrap-up video or roundup video. So this is everything I picked up in the realm of 2023 releases. So we'll start off with the actual 2023 albums, and then we'll get into the old school 2023 releases and or reissues and stuff. We'll start with the CDs and stuff, and I got a bunch of vinyl. And again, of course, this is just going to be everything that was released in 2023, not old school albums and shit like that, because as you can see, this stack out here, and then there's more stacks everywhere else, that's just old shit that I picked up probably since my last update and or since I stopped doing my shelf videos, which I'm going to get back to, I promise you people. The last, I'm so busy. I'm just so freaking busy. I'm never home, and it's just so hard for me to make videos, and I like to do it when I actually have time and not being rushed and stuff like that. So without further ado, first up, I'm not going to talk about these albums in a whole lot of detail because I have so much to get through, and I don't want this video to go on for like 14 hours, which it possibly could. I got lucky today because work got canceled because it's so cold here. 3 days ago, it was in the pluses, and now it's minus 40. We literally had a green Christmas here, and New Year's, I was sitting by a fire with in shorts and stuff. It was so warm, and now it's minus 40 10 days later. We have the most bizarre weather here. But anyways, it was so cold with my job, me working for Canada Post. We can't really be outside in this. It's actually dangerous. But anyways, so here I'm at home, and I had some time, and I'm like, fuck it. Threw on the Big Daddy Kane shirt and the Hyro hat, and said, fuck it, man. Let's do the Roundup video right now, because I know it's a little bit late. It's January 10th, but hey, this video will get out, and then I'll get to my top 23 of 23. So I think last year I did a 22, year before was 21, year before that was 20. So yeah, you guys get the idea. Without further ado, let's get into the physical albums I picked up here. And there is a couple that I didn't grab. You're probably at the end of the video, you're gonna be like, where the fuck's that one? I'll explain if I remember, but if not, leave a comment down below and I'll get you. All right, so first up here is the sequel, Midnight Run, fucking Torre and Marco Polo, man. I was so ecstatic when this got announced because I absolutely love Double Barrel. It's one of my favorite modern post 2000 albums. That one came out in 2009, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, 14 years later they link up again and do another album. Pure banger here, man. If you guys haven't heard this, definitely check this out. It's such a great album. Marco Polo knocks the fucking beats out of the park. Torre is just amazing with the lyrics, man. He's just come so hardcore. I love it. But the thing I love about Marco Polo is that he can do these kind of almost lower key, almost domesticated beats for Master Ace, and then he can just switch up gears and do this type of shit, and he's all over the place. Marco Polo is a very, very underrated modern day producer, in my opinion, man. He's really good. So anyways, yeah, my furnace just came on. I apologize if you guys can hear that, but I can't turn it off like I generally do for my videos because it is minus 40 outside and the house will fucking literally freeze in 10 minutes. It's crazy how cold it is out there. All right, so Mathematic. Man, Mathematic dropped a new album this year called Math Universal with Parental. Dude, this is, man, this sounds like old Mathematic from the late 90s, man. This shit blew me out the frame. I love Parental as a producer. He does half the record. Who does the other stuff on here? I'm forgetting the dude's names. Anyways, yeah, I can't. But anyways, Parental, dope producer, dope European producer. Mathematic, Canadian MC. If you've never heard this, this is really, really good. I saw this on so many people's favorite or top albums of the year. I only do favorite lists. I don't fuck with best of. But yeah, so however you do your list. I did see this on a lot of lists this year, which actually made me very happy that people checked it out because, yeah, Mathematic's dope. All right, so this one right here caught me off guard. I was never expecting these two to link up, but Elzai and Oh No with Heavy Vibrato. This was interesting. It took me a couple listens to kind of get the feel of it because I didn't really know what to expect because Elzai has done some very different sounding albums as of recently. Like his last project was a lot different than the one before that, and this one's a lot different. But I expected it because Oh No is a very kind of abstract type producer who uses a lot of unique samples and just odd sounds. Like he's a very interesting producer. So with the lyrical prowess of Oh No, or of Elzai, I was like, man, this is going to be an interesting project. I heard a lot of people kind of shit on this one a little bit, but it did take me a couple listens to finally appreciate what was going on in this one. But I think it's really good. We got Jarv with the Algamum. This is, man, if you've never heard of Jarv, he's pretty nerdy. But man, the dude's got a way with words and lyrics and shit. It's actually really good. Very cool stuff. And he produced the album himself too, which is really interesting. Like, dude's pretty dope with the production and the lyricism, man. It's pretty crazy. So probably not gonna be for everybody, even though it has that like kind of raw, real hip hop sound, you know, whatever. But it's the content might be a little dorky for some people, but I think he's really good. He's really good. All right, so Clever One with Giallo Point, man, and the Bruise Brothers, man. They didn't actually drop an album together this year, but as a duo in separate projects, they dropped like 4. But yeah, so Clever One dropped this one with Giallo Point. Giallo Point is just like this guy's producing so much stuff, like ridiculous amounts of stuff for everybody. But he's been working with Clever One and Himlo quite a bit. So, but this one right here is I got Guns, Knives, and Nunchucks. Dope, really, really dope. Love Clever One, man. He's awesome. Speaking of Himlo, with Giallo Point as the Cognac Kings. So they did another album under the Cognac Kings group name or whatever. So this is really good too, man. Really, really good stuff here. So if they dropped one a couple years back, man, their output is so crazy in the last 3-4 years. It's just ridiculous. They're putting out so many projects. And these aren't even like EPs. These are like, you know, they're over 30 to 40 minute albums, you know, like they're actually albums. So yeah, this is really good too. And then we got Himlo again with Big Nas as the Crime Cousins. So this is a variant on another kind of group name that they're doing. So Crime Cousins, this was really good too. So you got production from Wino Willie, which he's worked with, and I'll show that in a minute here. We got Giallo Point on here, Lord B. Chisu. Yeah, all the usual cats that are working with the Bruise Brothers. It's pretty much like this big family of whatever, just under different monikers. And then we got Himlo and Wino Willie. God Don't Fuck With Ya. Now, this is dope, but the problem is with this album is the mixing. I don't know if it's supposed to sound distorted. I really doubt it's supposed to. But man, it really sounds distorted. It's really fucked up. It's kind of a shame because it's really good. Like, I really like the beats on here. And of course, Himlo is always dope. But the mixing, and I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to... Correct me if I'm wrong. If I am wrong about this, anyone knows who has listened to this. I've never heard an album supposed to sound... It just sounds like something got turned up in the mix, really. Like, I've done a lot of mixing in my life, and that's what happens. It just sounds like, you know, when you're recording like tape to tape and you have the shit up too high and it's like distorted. That's exactly what this sounds like. But yeah, so Himlo and Wino Willie, it's just kind of a shame because it's really good, but it's just hard, a little bit hard to listen to. All right, so doing a 180 from the Bruise Brothers stuff here into some Atmosphere, Talk EP. Yeah, so all these, you'll notice they're all in plastics. I'm trying to put them in bags because it's just a shelf. You know, they're just starting to wear them out. I'm just trying to keep them in better shape and stuff. This is open, of course. That's just on the plastic part that's on the disc or on the outer case. I thought this was really cool, and Atmosphere put out 2 projects this year. It's funny because they consider this an EP, and this is longer than probably 95% of albums that come out nowadays. It's like 45 minutes long. Like, most albums aren't even 30 minutes. So, albums. But yeah, this has kind of like a more of an 80s type vibe to it and shit. It's pretty interesting, actually. I thought it was pretty cool. And then Atmosphere's full-length album, which is, I can't remember the title of this, is So Many Other Realities Exist Simultaneously. Which I thought was really cool. The construction of the album, it feels really long. It's got like 20 tracks on. Yeah, 20 tracks. It's got some shorter ones on here. It's not like they're like kind of like their emo era. It's not like they're totally out of that. It's a different sound. Like, these are completely different sounding projects this year from Atmosphere. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty cool that they did that. But yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the. I like this one a lot actually for being one of their modern projects, but overall, I mean, it wouldn't rank anywhere near for myself and their top albums or nothing. But it's still pretty solid though. Slug is always good lyrically, man. Like he's got some shit on there. Then we got the Talib Kweli and Madlib Liberation sequel, Liberation 2, which I thought was pretty good. I never thought that I would see a sequel with Talib Kweli and Madlib from the Liberation Project that they did years ago, actually. I never thought we'd see a sequel, but here it is. And it's got a lot of... It's got some decent... There's a song in here called One for Biz, which has Wild Child and Q-Tip. That's pretty interesting. We got Mac Miller on here. I'm assuming it's like a verse that's maybe an unreleased verse. I don't actually know the history behind that. So rest in peace to Mac Miller. Got Rock Marciano here, among people and stuff. But overall, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I think I prefer the first one to this one, but it's pretty good. I liked it. Then, of course, Vinny Paz dropped another album, which I can never remember the title. All our guests in the House of God. If Vinny does one thing well, it's putting out solid albums. Now he has 8 or 9 solo albums now. I can't remember, and they're all pretty good. And he's got it. He's got an ear for beats. He always puts out solid records. Some are better than others. This one kind of ranks. It's not in my top 3 or 4. But the production's on point here. Like you got some Stu Bangers. You got some. Who else produced on here? Forma Beats, Vic Grimes. You got Giallo Point, Leaf Dog produced on here, which is crazy. C Lance. I'm not sure if I mentioned C Lance. It's all over the place. Some of the usual suspects and stuff. Feature wise, you got Young Z on here, man, which is a dope track. The God Fahim, Blackistan. Rest in peace to Blackistan. Still hurts my soul, man. He was one of my favorites of the last 20 something years. Ever since Blackistan came out, I loved him. Yeah, Freeway. You got a track with Freeway on here, which really shocked me to see Vinny Paz and Freeway doing tracks together. So I got Ransom on here, Saigon, Timbo King. It's all over the place, man. Lord Goat, Ill Bill. The usual suspects at some points, but solid album from Vinny Paz. Can't say anything real bad about it. Larry June and The Alchemist, The Great Escape. I saw this album on a shit ton of lists this year. I thought it was quite interesting. People's tastes are so different because, I'm a huge Alchemist fan, and The Alchemist is one of those guys that really changes up his production style so much. Like, if you go through the history of The Alchemist, man, he's got so many different sounds over the years. I feel like he's kind of conformed to this no drums shit a little too much on this. This one came off super boring to me. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just, this was not doing it for me. I'm not the hugest Larry June fan. I do like him. I have some of his records and stuff, but he's okay. But overall, it was just disappointing to me because I wanted to hear some fucking drums, man. If you throw... Okay, so this is actually a funny story, and this is a true story. So I was having some beers one night, and I fucking shit you not, man. I literally I just got finishing listening to Midnight Run. And it wasn't my first listen. I was re-listening to it, and I just got this album in the mail. And so I was like, well, fuck, I got to put it on. So I put this on after this album. Talk about a monster disappointment. So I revisited a couple months later after, not listening to such a banger before, because it kind of swayed me, I was like. And I still was bored as hell with this, man. It's crazy. It's got Action Bronson on it. It's got Dollar Sign. It's got Slum Village on here. Boldy James. Wiz Khalifa. It's got Jay Worthy. Fuck, he dropped a great album this year, which I did not get a physical copy of because it was so expensive to grab. Oh my god. I wish I had it because it's one of my favorite albums of the year. It's so dope. Joey Badass Currency. I was just floored by this, man. How boring it is. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but I'm not sorry, but it's just me. I'm not saying it's a bad album at all. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. Then we got Skyzoo, who's very consistent with his releases. We got Skyzoo and the other guys, The Mind of a Saint, a soliloquy. I've never seen Snowfall before, but I know what this album's premise is. He's rapping from inside the mind of the main character, Franklin Saint, I think is what his name is, if I'm not mistaken. But everyone tells me I need to watch Snowfall because it's right up my alley. I like that type of stuff. So, but I think that's pretty cool that he did a concept album based off a fictional character from a Disney show. I don't think it's actually Disney. It plays on Disney. I don't think it's actually produced by Disney. I don't think Disney would produce something about drug dealing. But yeah, really good stuff. Skyzoo, really, really good lyricist. Say what you want about him, and I've said it many, many times in the past about how Skyzoo is one of those guys that tends to sometimes lose my attention because he's so kind of monotoned. But like in that way where like you want to keep listening to him because he's always saying some good shit, and you can see why he actually is a pretty prolific ghostwriter. Because he's got lyrics, man. He knows how to do it. It's just that it gets old after a while. Not even old, you just tune out, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Skyzoo, he's still good though. He just puts out solid projects. It's just, yeah. Some more Canadian hip hop here. We got Mocha Only and End of Itself. Now Mocha's been dropping some serious heat, man, the last few years. Man, the last bunch of projects have been really, really good. He's one of those dudes that you cannot keep up with because he puts out so much material. But it's incredible if you keep up with listening to all his new material and shit. He never falters or falls away from what he's trying to do, is just be himself. And he always puts out these solid records, man. And I swear that's why they go under the radars, because like I swear if you heard one of these, they're very similar, but you know, just the way he flips his production and like his samples, and he's very jazz influenced, and it like his output is incredible. Like he literally has probably over 100 and something albums. And like I'm not talking EPs, man. I'm talking albums that are like 45 minutes long. It's crazy. The dude is so prolific, man. He's got so many different types of styles and sounds and shit, but he always sticks to it's Mocha Only, you know. Solid project, man. Speaking of an album I saw on many, many lists this year, is the new Black Thought, produced by the L. Michaels Affair. Now, the L. Michaels Affair caught my attention when they did those, their versions of the Wu-Tang songs, their instrumentals and stuff, and some of those are incredibly done, man. Of course, it's a live band doing interpretations of these famous Wu-Tang songs and shit, and I was like, holy fuck, it's amazing. Now, this is a really good album, depending on what you want. Do you want that hard, aggressive, kind of like Illadelph, Half-Life, Black Thought, or do you want like a really, really metal Black Thought? Because here I feel like they didn't change it up enough on the record. I feel like it's a little, almost too mellow for the whole thing. There's no real up-tempo, no tracks where Black Thought can really, really deliver that, you know, that fucking funk flex, fucking 10-minute freestyle shit. But I guess it depends what you're looking for. Like, I've listened to this album in different mind frames where I've been very mellow and I wanted to hear this, but then, you know, I've listened to it at times where I'm like, fuck, I really kind of want that more, that hard-hitting fucking Black Thought. I guess it all depends on taste and timing, I guess, right? That's the thing I like about music, and that's why listening to albums at different times and different moods and stuff can have different effects on you, which is very interesting. So, Glorious Game, really good album. Just it's become a mood piece for me. Moods piece. That was not intended. Kool Keith, my God. So, we all know Kool Keith's output over the last 30 years has been insane. Now, this year alone, he dropped like 4 or 5 albums. And so this one right here called World Area is just bizarre. It's really, really bizarre, but it's listenable. It's Kool Keith. You can tell he's just having so much damn fun. Now, the thing I love about Kool Keith is that you never know what you're going to get with an album to album. Like I said, he dropped, 4 or 5 albums this year? They all sound different. Depending on who's producing, what character he's playing into. These are all under Kool Keith moniker, but I don't know, man. Like, he is an interesting dude. He's so eccentric, it's ridiculous. Like, he's got a song in here with Crunchy Black. 3 6 Mafia. Like, fucking insane, man. And it's very 3 6 Mafia influence too. It's pretty crazy. So, but kind of cool because Kool Keith can rap over shit like that. He could rap over anything. The guy can rap over anything. He's the man of 1,000 styles. Then we got Nas and Hit Boy, Magic 2. Yeah, so Magic 2, which I really enjoyed, man. Actually, I like all 3 of the Magic records. I mean, out of the 6 Nas and Hit Boy collabo records, the 3 King's Disease ones, and I prefer the Magic ones. I'm really sorry about the glare here. I can't help it, man. It's lighting. It is what it is. You guys get the gist. Probably doesn't help that I'm just fucking moving my shit around too much. But this is really dope, man. Yeah, I would say the only one I don't like, getting back to my point, the only one I don't really care for is actually King Disease 1. And like put a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, oh fuck, and then I was like, okay, and then we get like when I remember when King's Disease 2 came out, I was like, oh fuck, what am I expecting? And I thought it was way better, and then I really liked the third one too. So, but I want to see what Nas is going to do next. I hope he links up with another producer and does a one MC one producer album series again, or album or whatever, because these are my favorite type of projects. I love the one MC one producer. I like the cohesiveness and shit like that. So it worked. It's good. I'm glad they're finally coming out physically too. So yeah, so we got some new DJ Shadow this year, man. Action Adventure. Oh man, there is some crazy ass beats on here, man. If you guys like DJ Shadow, he's another producer that does a whole pile of different sounds over his time from the 90s till now. Like, he's elevated, and he's done shit all over the place. There's some very 80s influence stuff here that is just like, whoa. I could not believe the shit that I was listening to. It's very fun. It's something I wouldn't put on all the time. It's something you want to put on, like, if you're in that kind of happy, fun go kind of mood shit. I don't know. But this is interesting. This is very different for DJ Shadow. I thought it was very cool. Very, very 80s synth kind of influence and stuff is very cool. An album I absolutely love. Everybody knows I'm a big fucking fan of the MC here, and a big fan of the production crew, and that's Beneficence and the Jazz Spastics with Summer Night Sessions. When I heard that Jazz Spastics was doing an entire record with Beneficence, I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. Because I knew right away there was going to be awesome beats, awesome jazzy beats, and one thing that Beneficence does well on his records is he always has really good features, really solid names in the industry. And even though he has a lot of features on his records, and I always complain about albums that are, you know, would have tons of features, even though they're good and stuff, I want to hear the one MC, one producer type thing. It never takes away, because Beneficence, I really like. Some people have different opinions about him. My boy Jay, I think he's not a big fan of him. I think he hates his name more than anything, but Beneficence, I like it. I like it. But again, going back to the features here, man, we got Socrates on here, Canadian. We got A1, Doodlebug of Digital Planets. That's crazy. We got Sky Zoo on here, just speaking of Sky Zoo. RA Science. We got J Live, Elda Sensei, Kid Abstract, Shabam Shadiq. Crazy amounts of awesome features. That's just bad shit. So, but really good stuff here from Ill Adrenaline. And yeah, if you're a fan of the Jazz Spastics, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Highly recommended. Good album. Then we got some UK verbs. UK hip hop here. We got Verbs with Mr. Slips, Nelson Dialect. This is really fucking dope. I actually didn't even know that Verbs had put out a new album this year until I saw my man Wicked on Instagram. He posted the vinyl, and I was like, oh shit. Or actually, no, he posted, and I was like, what album is that? And he's like, oh, it's a new Verbs album. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know. So I had to pick up a CD. Really good stuff, man. I know I'm not overly super versed on UK hip hop. I do have, you know, some in the collection in my 15,000 albums, but I'm not like, you know, it's just kind of like an oversight sometimes. Like, I just don't hear about it as much. But yeah, Verbs is a cat that I'll definitely be checking out all the time, because dude puts out some really good shit, man. So good album. Speaking of Nas, as you can see, there's no rhythm to how I have this except for they're in digipacks right now. Nas's King Disease 3, of course, all produced by Hit Boy. This I thought was really good. Some interesting songs in here, man. What's the song? I think it's the Michael and Quincy song. Just some of the stories and the way he flips his lyrics in this and shit, man. The lyrical prowess of Nas is just unmatched, dude. Like, the guy's literally like a billionaire, and he's still doing it like he's hungry as that's one thing I like about the whole Nas and Hit Boy thing. It just felt like he was just hungry, and it's not about the money. It's about regaining his, you know, king title, you know, his crown, the King's Disease, right? Never really thought of that till now, but yeah, his King's Disease was, you know, reclaiming that crown, I guess. But I think he did such a good job with these, and you can tell just the overall products of them working together really shows on these albums. So good stuff. And my man Ill Bill with Billy, right, man? I was looking forward to a new Ill Bill album this year, and we got one. I know he teased about it for a little bit. I actually liked the Illmatic kind of prelude EP thing that he did. I thought that was really cool. You know, of course, Illmatic, and it was Ill Bill doing Illmatic songs. So I thought it was actually really fun as like a pre-mixtape for the album and stuff. But we got some Sick Jack and Immortal Technique on here. Vinny Paz, Lord Goat, DJ Eclipse. Fuck amazing. We got some Uncle Howie, rest in peace, Uncle Howie. We got Nems on here. They should do another Gorilla Twins album. We got Slain on here, DJ JS1, one of my favorites. Cool G Rap, Vinny Paz, Tragedy Gaddafi, Q Unique, Ransom, fucking JD, Ritz, Nem. Like, fuck, dude, it's crazy. But this overall product is actually really dope. Production's really on point on here too. It'll return to like some good form here, man. It's one of his better projects in the last few years. It's way better than Stepagram. I thought that was not very good, but you know, it's hit and miss. But mostly good stuff from Ill Bill. Jordan 3s, love that story, man. It's great, good stuff. And then fucking man, like I don't know, like Onyx, I don't know what has gotten into Fredro Starr and Sticky Fingers, but man, their output in the last like 4 or 5 years has been batshit, man. They're putting out crazy albums. And some really good stuff. Like, there's some good stuff on here, man. This one's called Blood on the X. You got a bunch of stuff produced by Fredro Starr and Sticky Fingers on here and stuff. They did that album, the 1994 album or whatever, was it last year, the year before, which always that throwback from that European producer, I can't remember. That was some really good stuff too. But this is really good too, man. This is like more like, you know, modern sounding and shit, but it's still got that kind of hard 90s boom bap feel to it. I thought it was really good, man. I know a lot of people aren't really checking for Onyx these days. Probably didn't even know this album even came out. I was a little late to the party too. I just randomly came across this and I was like, shit, they put out another album? Fucking crazy, man. But yeah, Onyx. Thought it was solid. Another one that I absolutely love this year. Kid Abstract's new album with Lee Lopez, Still Dreaming. Really, really good jazz hop here. If you're a fan of Kid Abstract, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's going to be jazzy hip hop. Very, very laid back. Good stuff on here. You got some, you know, cuts by fucking Phonics on here and shit like that. A1's on here. Yeah, so good stuff. Highly, highly recommend this. Don't really recommend the packaging. I hate these little fucking slimline things, man. They always get lost in the collection. Yeah. Then we got the double feature of Your Old Droog. We've got the Yod Father and The Shining. So the Yod Father. And we've got The Shining on the back here. So the double feature basically is 2 EPs kind of put together in one wonderful release. Instead of having to buy them separately, we get this release, which is pretty fucking cool because it's more bang for your buck, really. Because these are not cheap if you're getting these through, of course, Your Old Drew. But this one's actually distributed through Nature Sound, so it's a little bit easier to get. I think I got this one on Amazon, to be honest. So pretty cool. I love the fact that Droog has been doing all these concept records the last 3 or 4 years. He's put out so many of them, and they're all really interesting. Like, one thing I've always been saying about Your Old Droog is that you can't listen to one of his albums once because you'll miss probably 80% of it. I swear. Every time I listen to a Droog album, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, the guy is so clever. He's so clever with his lyrics. He's always saying some shit. You know, I wish he would go back. I mean, I'm not a big fan of when he's like dropping the fucking drums out of the shit and stuff like that, but he doesn't do it as much as some of the other cats these days. But I think there's some really good stuff on here, man. I love the Shining EP, man. The shit that he's saying, man. Oh, dude, it's so good, man. It's actually super clever, especially if you know the movie and the way he's flipping it into the metaphorical schemes. Oh, it's good shit. It's really good. Then we got Czarface's new one, Czarficial Intelligence. Another fucking great album cover from Czarface. Like, it's totally cool. We got Nems on here. We got Logic. I was surprised to hear a song with Logic. I've never really heard a lot of Logic. I've heard a couple songs from him, and I'll be honest, I found them to be kind of corny. But I do get the appeal of Logic. I'm not saying he's horrible or nothing. I was just surprised to see Logic on this record. It was crazy. But what I wasn't surprised, well, a little bit, I was surprised to see Godfather Don, but Godfather Don and Kool Keith on the same track. The Cenobites, fuck. Dude, so sick, man. Some interesting tracks on here, man. I think, all for that Drop of Blood, I think that's a track that's very 80s synth sounding and shit. But, again, very cool. Is it on this album where there's a little bit of mixing problems? I think it's on this one, or what album is it? Shit, I can't remember. But it might be this one. Yeah, it might be where the volume kind of goes up when you're listening. It's weird. It's totally like a mixing issue. I can't remember if it's on this one or another one. But anyways, it doesn't. But Czarface, good stuff. Always solid. Always solid. We got some more Canadian stuff here. This case is fucking destroyed because, man, it just got destroyed. But we got Swamp Thing with Danny Miles. We got Golden Crab. man, you can't go wrong with Swamp Thing, man. I've mentioned this many times in the past about Swamp Thing, Timbuktu, and Crew. Always putting out solid shit, man. And no, this is not very, very nerdy. It's. I mean, I guess I do have some word burglar, and he's pretty nerdy, but it's dope, man. It's like pretty dope. Like kind of, it's different boom bap a little bit. But you got Ghetto Socks on here, Mocha Only. You got More or Less, Wordberg, Jesse Dangerously, and Bazooka Joe, aka John Smith. All the usual suspects. Another really, really solid release from Swamp Thing. Check it out, man. It's good stuff. If you heard their other stuff, it's very much in line with that. And this is like the biggest surprise of the year for me is hearing a brand new Park-like setting album. Smart Canadian stuff here. McEnroe, DJ Honeycutt, John Smith. Amazing. I could not believe that they put... This is the first album that they dropped as a group since... at least 15 years? Maybe even longer. The last Parklight setting album, I have it down there. I don't know. It's been a long time. I used to drop it all the time on my radio show. But good stuff, man. They got that political points to it and shit. And there's just some really good songs on here. They put a lot of effort into this. Really happy to hear another Parklight setting album from Peanuts and Corn. Not Penis and Corn, Peanuts and Corn. Yeah, good stuff. And then speaking of McEnroe from Peanuts and Corn, Big McEnroe, Alvaro Rojas with Noodles, instrumental record. Pretty cool stuff. I support everything McEnroe does. He's from my neck of the woods in Vancouver. So, well, he's originally from Winnipeg. He's based out of Vancouver, British Columbia now. Pretty cool stuff. Like I said, anything that McEnroe is going to do, I'm going to support because I want him to put out more records. So you got to buy his physical releases. So, but yeah, good stuff. Really like the beats on there. Really good shit. Next up here, we got Aesop Rock's Integrated Tech Solutions. This is like it's a different sounding album for him. And lyrically, it's really funny because like he talks about so much food. Like it's all relative to what he's doing in this album. But man, he references food a lot in this record. It just reminded me of Doom. Like not like Doom, but like in a sense of how Doom would, reference metaphorically speak about food in different ways and shit like beef rap and shit. There's always multiple meanings to the titles and the lines in his music and stuff. Just like Aesop, he pretty much raps all in metaphors. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, really good album, really good stuff. Saw that one on a bunch of lists this year too. Now, one album. Now, this guy right here, he's kind of a hit and miss artist for me, actually, which is really actually kind of funny because I have the long box of autographs sitting right there, and of course here's Signature. Joel Ortiz and Larange hooking up, man. You know me, man. I love these 1MC1 producer albums, and this was really fucking good, man. Like Joel Ortiz sometimes is hit and miss with his albums depending on production and stuff. I always like Ortiz on the mic. It really does come down to the beats for me. I know he's going to be solid, but holy shit, man, this was really good, man. We got, of course, King Crooked on here, and we got a song with Chic Luch on here. Crazy. So this was really good. This was a good big surprise. Larange is one of those producers that I find has a wide variety of beats. Also, he can really kind of cater to the MC a little bit, and this one came out really good. Very, very solid project. I didn't hear like anyone talk about this one this year. It's very strange. Speaking of Mellow Music Group, which was released on Mellow Music Group. Now, I've stated many, many times that I'm not a huge fan of this MC. I don't dislike him at all. I like some of his projects more than others. And this one right here, I kept getting recommended. They're like, man, people are like, you're going to like this one. And I was like, okay. So it's fully produced by Decca. Homeboy Sandman's, what's it called again? Still Champion. And he put out 2 albums this year. I thought the other one was solid too, actually. But 2 totally different sounding albums. And I get it, man. And this one for me is more cohesive because of the one producer. And he's got a different type of release points. His flow is different in this record and stuff. I don't know what it is. It just really fucking worked for me. I thought this was very solid from Mellow Music Group. So, Homeboy Sandman. Then we got a compilation from Mellow Music Group called Amakazi. Of course, you got, man, the font on here is so small. It's ridiculous, man. You got Denmark Vesey on here. You got Marlowe. You got Paradigm. You got fucking Apollo Brown. A lot of the cats, right? I think Cool Chris is on. Actually, Cool Chris isn't even on here. Maybe he's featured, maybe does production or something. I don't know. Raheem Devon. Yeah, I don't know. But I thought it was decent. Some of these compilation albums are, it's funny because like they're supposed to showcase the label and not really be the best of best, but you know what I mean? Have these moments where you're like, oh, I want to check out that. It's okay. It was really okay. It wasn't the greatest for me, but it was okay. That's all I can say. Speaking of Mellow Music Group, it's actually, you know what's funny? These were not put in there on purpose by label. They just all ended up like, it's so weird. I must have been subconsciously doing it or something. But Apollo Brown and Fillmore Green's Cost of Living. Yeah, so I feel like Apollo Brown's at his best work when he's using drums. Okay, so I don't really understand this whole thing with, you know, with Planet Asia and doing albums without with really out the drum. I mean, Apollo Brown is one of those guys. He's got a very signature sound. His albums, right away, it's like primo. You know, like you know that's an Apollo Brown beat. You know, those drums, those string samples that he uses and shit. And this is one of those albums. Like my main problem with this album though is that it feels so redundant in the sound. Like I know Apollo Brown, he does this in a lot of albums. Like you can tell every song is Apollo Brown, but this one, I don't know what it is, man. From top to bottom, it feels like you're listening to like one long track. There's not a wide range of Apollo Brown range in this one. But with that said, it's a very solid album. Not many features on here. You got Evidence on Paradise, which is a really dope track. But you know, overall, it's very good. I just feel like it doesn't switch up a lot. It's very in the same BPM vein. It's very much in the same sounds. I feel like he just didn't change up the drum sound. It's weird. I don't know what it is, but it's a solid record. Don't get me wrong. I think Fillmore Green's very, very dope. Good stuff. Yeah, I must have subconsciously been doing this because this is ridiculous, but we got more Mellow Music Group here with Marlowe 3. So Solomon Brigman and Larange, which is Marlowe. And I really like this one, man. I thought this was really good. So far, all three of them have been solid to me. I think the first one's still the best. I think they kind of go in order, like first, second, maybe third. I don't know. I'd have to like go back and check out 2 and 3 to see which one I like more, but I thought this was really solid. You got fucking Blue on here, Joel Ortiz. Not many features actually, but you don't really need a lot. Like I feel like Brigham is enough. He's just enough, and I kind of like that though. That they're gonna do these albums with very minimal features because you know he's kind of a character. He's interesting, so good stuff. Then of course we've got, man, I did it. I swear to God, it's subconsciously. This is Play by Chance. This is the craziest thing ever. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm lying. I have no idea. But more Mellow Music Group releases here. Cool Keith with Black Elvis 2. Now I could not fucking believe that he was putting out a sequel to Black Elvis, which came out in 1999. Live in Astro, man. I still to this day love that song. I remember when that song came out. I was in Vancouver and I was like, man, dude, Cool Keith is just so fucking weird. I love him. And then here we are like 24 years later and we get a sequel. Obviously not as good as the first one, but very, very solid. There's some funny shit on here, man. Cool Keith, like this one from World Area, so different sounding, completely different sounding. But like I said, Cool Keith, man, dropping some fucking knowledge this year, man. That was really crazy, all those Mellow Music Groups. I don't know how that happened. Then we got one from not Mellow Music Group, who actually, what is this? Oh, is this actually Columbia, right? Yeah, big time label. So Joey Badass 2000. Now this is one of the earliest albums I bought this year, I swear. I think it like digitally came out 2022 and 2023. The physical drop like beginning of the year. It's been a minute since I've listened to this. I remember liking it, not thinking it was overly that great. I got to go back and actually check this out again. Craziest thing, man. The first track on the album has got Diddy on it. It's nuts. And then, of course, we got Larry June on here and stuff. But, no, Badass is... I can see the appeal for him, and I can see why people don't really care for him. But I'm kind of somewhere in the middle with him. Like, he's got some really good stuff. 1999 was really good, man. I love that record. Mellow Music Group. Oh, it's broken up by that one. So this is still sealed. I have listened to this. And this is what I'm talking about, man. Like Anchovies from Apollo Brown and Planet Asia was really good because for the time, it was a few years back and we were still on this, okay, there's no drums thing, you know, like very, very mellow or very minor or like very low mixed kind of drums and stuff like that. And I haven't listened to this in a couple months, but I remember this album just like being almost drumless. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was like, what the fuck, man? I love Apollo Brown with a passion. I'll buy anything Apollo Brown does. I'm a huge Planet Asia fan. I have a lot of Planet Asia records, which is, I mean, if you're a collector, you probably have a lot in your collection because Planet Asia puts out a fucking shitload of albums. He's like the new Cool Keith. And together I was like, oh my God, I got to go back and listen to this to either confirm what I'm talking about and stuff. But so I remember the track on here was Sick Jack and thinking to myself going, this isn't right. Like, Sick Jackin should not be rapping over a beat with no drums. Like, it just didn't fucking... I'm like, this is not Psycho Realm. This is not DJ Mugg Sick Jackin shit. What the fuck, man? So, let me know if you guys are fans of this down in the comments. Now, this is going to be the controversy of the update. Now, I saw this album on almost every fucking list this year. Every list. I don't know what the fuck, man. I like some older stuff by this guy. I love the Run the Jewels stuff. We got Michael from Killer Mike. I think it's the beats, man. I couldn't do this. I tried a couple different times. I don't know what it is, man. I can't get into this. And it's so crazy because I'm looking at some people's top 10 lists. And these are like favorite lists too. And some of the stuff that's on there, I'm like, is so polar opposite than this. I'm like, is it just people just conforming or something? I have no idea what's going on, but I have no idea. I personally don't get this album. I'm gonna try it again, but as of right now, I can't get into it, man. I'm not saying it's horrible by any means. I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm just saying it's not for myself. I'll never say anything's bad unless I truly think it's shitty. But I don't think it's like a horrible... I can see the appeal in it because I can see Killer Mike lyricism in the record. It's kind of a personal album. I get that whole thing. It's just the beats for me. Not doing it, but... so Apollo Brown's This Must Be the Place. This is still sealed. I listened to it on my phone. I just never opened out my copy. Beat Tape. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I thought this was interesting. Yeah, I mean, Apollo Brown puts out lots of beat tapes and shit like that, so... Then, of course, we got Pen Pals with Pen Pals. You know what? I'm actually going to put... Here, I'll show that in a minute. When I get to this. So, last up for this stack here is a new Teflon. 2 sides to every story. Which, of course, is... Got a bunch of production from DJ Premier on here. We've got Jazimoto on here also. Features, man. We got Little Fame. MOP is a group. DJ Eclipse. We got Benny the Butcher's on here. Now, a lot of people were kind of shitting on this. They're like, oh man, Primo's lost his stuff and shit. I actually really enjoyed this whole thing, man. It was just cool to hear Teflon come out with a solo project. I know some of this stuff is a little bit older, but it's been compiled and put out in 2023. We kind of know the history of this. But it's pretty cool to see this project finally come about. Yeah, so I thought it was good. I don't know. I had no problems with it really. So yeah, so that's Teflon. Sorry, yos. I totally unplugged my camera there when I was reaching for the Chop Hearing stack. Okay, so anyways, continue along. First up, we have Pen Pals 3 released. So yeah, this is gonna be the Chop Hearing stuff, this boutique label stuff. But this is like all the 2023 modern stuff that they released, and I'll get into like the old school stuff here in a minute. So, but yeah, Pen Pals 3. Again, strong stuff from Pen Pals, man. They never seem to disappoint. This one, it's a little bit more mellow than their previous projects and stuff, but if you're a fan of Pen Pals, you're probably going to like this. It's really good, like just kind of jazzy, boom bappy, like it's good. I really enjoy it, so good stuff. Now, this is like the saddest project of the year because, as you guys know me, Putz is like People on the Stairs is like my favorite group, modern group since like 98. Of course, Tribe will always be my favorite group, but we're talking like modern stuff. They never did anything wrong. They dropped 10 albums that were all fire to me. And of course, Double K passed away a couple years ago. But they were working on a project together. So Double K and Doolio are working on a project, and we got like the short little EP. But it's such a shame because every song on here is like a fucking banger, man. Doolio is so underrated as an MC, as a producer. Same with Double K, underrated as a producer, MC. So you got these two, double shots here, basically working together, and the shit came out pretty damn cool. Would have been so cool to hear the full length album for this, but unfortunately we never got it. But we did get this release, so which is pretty cool, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, so rest in peace to Double K, man. Such a shame. Then we got Recognize Ali with Back to Mecca 2. Loved Back to Mecca 1. I wasn't overly shocked that he did a sequel to it because I think the reception on the first one was really good. And this is fucking bangers, man. Fuck, this is good. So good, man. I just, dude, Recognize Ali is one of those cats that drops a lot of albums, but he never seems to miss. Like he's like 95% on point, man. Like his output, there's a lot of cats out there that have a lot of quantity over quality. Like, I mean, a lot these days. And there's very few cats out there that have quality upon quantity. It's crazy, man. It's pretty much all quantity or all quality. Production from Tone Spliff on here, super dope. Annuel, you got Giallo Point, Hobgoblin Beats, DJ Trey. It's just fucking full of bangers, man. I love Recognize Ali too, man. He's dope. Got that little rugged voice. Here's a really cool one from this year, man. From Chrome Bills, friends of the show. Good stuff on here, man, from Chopped Hearing. Really, really good stuff. Highly recommend this. Really good, funky hip-hop, man. Awesome stuff. Now, this one, man, I actually talked to Tajay, and I met him at the Hieroglyphics show, the 30th anniversary of 93 Till Infinity. And I was like, man, you did a whole album, Architect, man. He's like, yeah, man, fucking, we were talking about this shit. It's too bad I didn't have it with me. I would have got it signed. But anyways, I did take a picture with him and shit. But anyways, Tajay, the Architect, with Black Tech, super awesome, man. Architect has been knocking his shit out the park, man. He's done so many albums in the last couple of years, even like this year. I can't even keep track of them all, but he did one this year which doesn't have a physical copy as far as I know, and that's the Rashid Chappelle album he did with Architect. And that song Mascots is my favorite song of the year, and it doesn't have a physical release. It pisses me off. I fucking love that song, dude. It just, oh man, it's so dope, dude. But Architect's beats on the record are so sick and super dope. I'm glad the Architect is just working with Variance guys, and I'm so happy to see these one MC, one producer albums and shit. I totally forgot that I had poured a beer, and I'm like, what, 40 minutes into this video, and I didn't even take a sip. But my throat was starting to hurt, so. And then, of course, we got SQ, producer record, of course, from Pen Pals. And, of course, you got all the, you got Bobby Noble on here from Pen Pals. You got fucking, everyone's on here, man. You got Prem Rock, you got Lars Viola, Rapswell. Everyone's on here, man. Good stuff, though. It's very laid back. That's kind of a trend this year with a lot of records. Super, super laid back hip hop, man. I don't know what it is, man. Just coming out of the whole COVID thing, and people are kind of sitting in their house, just all chilling, laid back. I don't know what it is, but this year there was a lot of laid back projects, with the exception of like Marco Polo and Torre. But this was good, man. It's good. This isn't really it's a 2023 release, but it's it's a mixtape basically. But you got DJ Cutler from released from Chopped Hearing. Basically, just it's almost like a sample tape for the whole label, but it's got a bunch of old school stuff. It's just all mixed down. It's like 60, 70 minutes long. It's fucking awesome. And then, of course, we got Pen Pal's other release of the year with Spectacular Diagnostics, Dimensions of Dialogue. This was fucking outstanding. It says 2022. This one actually came out physically like in the new year. That's when the packages kind of came out because they were late. So I'm counting this as a 23 album. It is what it is. Pen Pal's doing no wrong, really. I love me some fucking Pen Pals, man. Rapswell, Bobby Noble. But the beats is cool. It's cool to see them working like a group working with just a whole nother producer. I really like that. Good stuff. One of my dogs is trying to get in my room here. Album absolute. These guys cannot do any bad for me, any wrong. That's pseudo intellectuals with Command Economy, and apparently they have like 4 more volumes coming. That is fucking batshit insane. Like if they have all this material ready to go and they're just gonna release it periodically, I'm ecstatic. So pseudo intellectuals, Command Economy. If you're a fan, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's fucking amazing. And then we've got the group name of the year. I laughed so hard at this when Chop here and announce this, I was like, that's so funny, man. If you can read that, but it says alcohol and drugs. Alcohol and drugs. And the album's called Test Tube Junkies. It's amazing. It's amazing. And, you know, it's got fucking Stranger Danger on here, which is always dope producer. Junkhead Professor. Yeah, a few other cats and stuff. But yeah, really good stuff, man. I love this record. So much fun. So much fun. Makes me laugh. Oh yeah, and I forgot these were sitting here too. So the last couple here in these weird ass cases from, of course, Soul Assassin Studios or Records, whatever you want to call it. But we've got the DJ Muggs, Mayhem Loren, and Madlib Project Champagne for breakfast. In these weird ass. Oh, I should have taken all the plastics off. Now look, now there's no glare. Idiot. I'm a fucking moron. But Champagne for breakfast. I personally love this. It's so funny. I freak a lot of hip hop groups on Facebook and stuff, and I very rarely ever post any comments. I just read because I couldn't be bothered to talk fucking hip hop with a bunch of fucking 14-year-olds and no shit. But anyways, I'm not saying they're all like that, but it's, you know, but just some of the comments are just so ridiculous that I'm not going to argue with people. But somebody made a comment about Mayhem Loren not being good for a whole album, and he's only really good for a verse here and there, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, Mayhem Loren has one of the strongest discographies in the last 15, 16 years out of any underground MC, and like, this guy keeps it so true. Love his style. I love the fact he's always talking about food. He's such a foodie, man. Like, Take It Personal podcast, he's been on there, 5-6 times, always talking about food, different diets, eating whole bags of cookies and shit. I love Mayhem Loren. I think he's dope. It was so cool to hear Muggs and Madlib link up, you know, these West Coast producers do this shit. And I thought it came out pretty cool. I think it was a letdown for a lot of people because I don't know what they're expecting. Just high expectations when you got Madlib and DJ Muggs. But all in all, I thought it was a good project. And of course, we've got this release, Soul Assassins 3, Death Valley. It's so funny because I always thought the last Soul Assassins was the third one, but I guess, or Intermission, but it wasn't actually called Soul Assassins 3. It was called Soul Assassins Intermission. So it's literally like an intermission before the third one, which came out years and years later. But man, the fucking MC lineup on this is crazy. You got Boldy James Worthy. I just said James Worthy. Taking it back. Wow. Shout out to the Lakers. Jay Worthy, Ghostface Killah, Rock Marciano, Rome Streets, Mayhem Loren. We got CeeLo. We got fucking Scarface and Freddie Gibbs on the same track. Bananas. Jay Worthy, I already said Devin the Dude. We got Evidence, Domo Genesis. We got, who else is on your Crime Apple? Method Man and Slick Rick on the same track. Fucking so dope. Oh yeah, Dump on Him, Be Real, MC Ren, and Ice Cube. Crazy. Cube doing songs at DJ Muggs again. Who would have thought? But really, really good production. I guess I could have just shown you guys that if you can read that. You can pause if you want to read it. But I was so shocked to see a Method Man and Slick Rick song on here together. I was like, that's fucking bananas. It's bananas. So that is going to do it for the 2023 CDs. Yeah, that's going to do it for the CDs. The actual release here. Let's get into the old school releases or in reissues and stuff. So I'll start out with a couple obvious reissues. I did pick up the 3 Feet High and Rise and De La Soul re-release because why not just support it? I have the originals and stuff, so but as you guys have seen on my shelves. But why not? Why not grab it? I did pick up De La Soul Is Dead. I did not grab the other two yet. I plan on grabbing Blue Mind State and Stakes Is High sometime, even though I have the original CDs, but it's not that big of, you know, I don't really need to grab them right now. Here, I'm gonna fucking move this shit over here because I have so much. The reissue of Sad Clown Bad Dub 2 Atmosphere. This originally came out in, I believe, 2002 or something like that, and it was only available on tapes and kind of sporadic. Like, it was very hard to get. This is really good stuff. It's like that early Atmosphere shit. Thought it was pretty cool. So that was cool to see them re-release that. Now, I missed this one when it came out. Carry On Tradition, Vinnie Paz. This one came out 2013, so it was like a 10-year anniversary reissue. I don't know how I missed this one. I just missed it. I knew it came out, and I just didn't pick it up and forgot about it, kind of thing. So missed out on it. I think went out of print and shit like that. So I was happy to see this one get a reissue. So another modern one that's got reissued. Now, I was super stoked on this, man. Main Source, The Science, which is essentially Main Source's second album. A lot of people say this isn't the album. Of course, it's not the finished product because, you know, I mean, Large Pro just, you know, they just didn't finish the record. He left. But there's still a bunch of stuff on here. It's pretty cool, man. You got Fake It the Funk soundtrack version, Faking the Funk Unreleased track, which I believe was released on the reissue of Breaking Atoms. There are some tracks that I'd heard on here before that were issued on the Breaking Atoms, like certain anniversary one or whatever. It's got like 6 or 8 different bonus tracks. But it's pretty cool to hear this stuff in its entirety. And I'm going to call this their second album because that's just what we're going to do. A lot of people arguing. I just don't argue back. I'm just like, you call it what you want to call it. Call it a compilation, but I mean, really, you call anything a compilation, really. One of my I waited for so many fucking years for this to come out, man. So many years, and it did not disappoint. Well, I'd heard some stuff off this before. I think some of it leaked back in the day. And I know I'd heard definitely one track off this for sure. And I believe it was on a radio show back in the day. Oh, I can't remember which one it is, but anyways, Rampages, Red October. It's supposed to release in 1994. This is released by True Minds Records. Big ups to True Minds, man, for releasing this. It came with a bunch of stickers and shit. Like, good release. Oh, dude, I was just over the hill on this one, man. I love this. I listened to this so many times this year. Great release, man. Rampage, Red October. True Minds. One of my all-time favorites, man. I was so happy to see this get a reissue because I missed out on this, and it always went for crazy money. And I always loved this record. Always loved it. I made my own bootleg years and years ago with this, and that's Lauronis's album, Imaginarium. It's so incredible jazz hop. Like, I love this record so much, man. So good, so good. And of course, this one got reissued also. And I remember when this came out. It came out with 2011. Is that what it was? And I missed out. I don't know why I never picked it up. I remember it was always on the website for underground hip hop and stuff, and I just didn't grab it. I don't know why. And yeah, finally got a copy now. So really good stuff. None of the Righteous Outlaw. Good stuff. And we finally have the official release of Kingdom Come from... Man, I hate this album cover because you can't see any of the text and stuff. And I really don't like what they did with this release. Yeah, you can't... All you can see is fingerprints on this thing. Like, that's disgusting. But yeah, King T's shelved album. This was the Aftermath shelved album. Of course, here's the breakdown of all the songs and shit if you guys can see through all that glare. Fuck. But tons of Dre production on here. We got features from Too Short. Fucking, man. You know, Ice-T's on the intro. Sharif is on a track. I think he did that Lyrical Law song on the Aftermath compilation or whatever. Is that the Lyrical Law one? I always thought that guy was going to be huge. One song and done. So that's obviously recorded about that time. Obviously in 96, I would say. So, Cool G Rap, Tradies on... There's some good stuff on it. A lot of this stuff we've already heard, but there is some songs that were kind of new to me. I do have a couple different bootlegs of this record or gray market releases and stuff. But for the most part, I'd heard most of this. But there were some tracks that were actually new to me, so it's pretty cool. We got Mac T, Rentalation. This is from North Cycle Vinyl. I picked this one up on a whim. Someone was like, man, you gotta check this out. It's really dope, dude. This is fucking dope, man. Mac T. I think originally, sometime in a later 97, something like that, I think this came out in. But yeah, I didn't really know much about it, but I picked it up, and that's really cool. Good stuff. Now this, I did not know that this was a thing. Now, I always thought that there was kind of something odd about Mr. 3-2's Big Buddha Baby record. It came out in 96, and then his next album was not on Rap-A-Lot, and it came out in the early 2000s, so there was quite a big, long spread of time, like 4 to 6 years kind of thing. But it makes sense because this album right here, Organized Crime from 3-2, rest in peace to 3-2, actually I think was originally supposed to come out in 97 through Rap-A-Lot. Possibly. I'm not sure if this was... It has a lot of Rap-A-Lot stuff on here, so I'm assuming it was shelved by Rap-A-Lot, or maybe he signed to a different label. I'm not 100% sure, but it does have like PSK 13 on here. It's got Gangsta Nip. It's got E-Rock from the Fifth Ward Boys. It's got Storm from Black Monks, which makes sense because he was part of Black Monks. Low Life from Fifth Ward Boys. So it had a bunch of Rap-A-Lot stuff on here, shelved in 97, and that's probably why he didn't put out anything for a few years after and stuff. But this is really good, man. Really, really good stuff. Totally different sound than the Buddha Baby album. But yeah, so happy to have this. And this was also put out. This was put out by Most Wanted Records. Most Wanted Records. Got myself an official. I do have the Chopped Hearing releases for pretty much all this stuff, but Most Wanted Records put it all into one release, which is the Five Elements, the album that Time Forgot. You know, Jay Dilla and Proof and shit like that. So, yeah, look at Proof. Rest in peace to Proof. There, where is he? Right there. Right there. With his long ass hair. Yeah, I don't think Dilla was actually technically part of the group. He just did a lot of production on here. He produced like, I don't know, maybe just over a third of the record, something like that. So, but really good. I really enjoy this, man. It's always cool to hear old Proof. And I've got a couple other Proof albums that he was a part of before his D12 fame and shit like that. So, but, oh, one of my favorite throwback album releases of the year. This is also from Most Wanted Records. And this was actually like a holy grail for me, and I couldn't believe, I actually had to do a double take when I saw that this was being released. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And Native Nuts. Oh man, I've been wanting this for so long. The Natives Are Restless. This is such a fucking dope album, man. So dope. So happy to see a re-release of this, man. Again, it was just one of those albums that you could find a copy here and there, but man, was it ever expensive. Just missed it back in the, well, not just missed it. I mean, gotta remember, this is like pre-internet sales and stuff. So like, there was some shit I just couldn't get. Like, so being up in Canada, but yeah. So this is a really good one too. Now this one, I didn't actually know much about this one. I think originally it was supposed to come out in, I believe 95 or 97 or something. I think it does so. But back to the source. It was very quiet this year. They didn't really drop a whole lot of stuff. This one, I think maybe it was released back in the day with a different cover, I'm assuming. I don't know, but Vital Signs with New Gen. And it's like a later 90s type deal. But this album's like, what, 16 tracks. And it's like 75 minutes. It's something like that. It's so long. It's such a long album. It's so good. That is a gem. This is a gem release from Back to the Source. I was just happy I got one because every time they announce something, I go to pick it up and fucking gone. I have a few Back to the Source releases, but shit, I tell you, man, they're hard to get. Then we got DJ OGS, Brick Wall Funk. This was a collaboration between Fat Flava Records, which is a Russian label, which we're probably not going to get too much more of their releases, and Hip Hop Enterprise. So it was released through Hip Hop Enterprise, so you could get it there. And it's basically like a ton of like demos and shit like that from like the 90s. And man, there's some really dope stuff. Like you got Delinquent Habit demos on here. And it's cool because it tells you what year and some of them like where they're from. Like actually like we're like Spoiled Little Rich Kids demo from 1992 New York. Shit like that. Billie Jean, This Old Man, 1992 Chicago. Various Blends is on here. It's fucking dope, dude. It's so good. I love hearing shit like this in this rawest form and shit. It's really cool, man. Really good stuff. So yeah, very, very underground. Very underground. Yeah, this is another one that I was so excited to get a reissue because this album, man, I don't remember where I first heard this cat, man. I think he's from, yeah, no, he is from Compton. Yeah, that's right. I heard a song by this guy, fuck, man, 15, 20 years ago, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? It was so, like, blunt and dirty. I was like, holy shit. But it's At Will. We Do It At Will. And this one got a re-release from Hip Hop Enterprise, or Southwest Enterprise. So their sister label, their sub-label from Hip Hop Enterprise. They do all the more gangster stuff. But this is really good, man. Like, it's just, like, 90s Compton at its fullest and funniest, too. It's hilarious. Some of the lyrics are so fucking funny in that album. Oh, man, this is dope right here, man. So this is from Hip Hop Enterprise, D-Law and the Bounty Hunters. Yeah, so pretty fucking cool shit. Did not know much about this one, but it looked amazing, and it was really good. Enough respect, man. Dope shit. Whoa! You can always count on me for dropping at least one through every update. That case actually came right off. That's crazy. Didn't even break. Okay, so speaking of Holy Grails, this is one right here that So I have a book, like it's a physical notebook that I wrote a ton of shit in, and I've scratched out so many. Like even this year, I scratched off so many Holy Grails that I just managed to either get original copies of, which I got 2 this week actually. They're older albums that were kind of like not holy, but albums I'm really after. But this was actually like a grail for me because this one was so hard to find copies for cheap. You go on Discogs, go on anywhere, and they were always selling for like $100 to $200. It's just prices you laugh at. You don't even consider buying. And then Hip Hop Enterprise was kindly enough to announce Mad Pack's The Last Dimension. I love this album. I had this thing downloaded forever back in the day, and yeah, really good stuff, man. Just so happy to finally have a copy of Mad Pack. Awesome stuff. So I'm not too worried about finding originals because you never find an original of that. Not at least where I am. So we got Dustin Dope released the full release of Children of the Corn, Welcome to the Danger Zone. Of course, Herc McGruff, Mace, Big L, Killer Cam, and company. I mean, really, Big L is only on a couple tracks, I think, in this whole thing. Yeah, Bloodshed. Mace is actually on quite a few tracks on this thing, man. Cam and Mace were on a ton, but Big L was only really on a couple because that's about the time that he got killed. So, but good stuff. It's cool to have an official release of this. I know there was some gray market bootleg things around and shit. So, but yeah, awesome to have this from Dustin Dope. Good release. I'm not sure if it's still available or not, but another one here from Dustin Dope. Landlords of the Morgue. Welcome to the Morgue. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about this one. I was pretty unfamiliar with the group name, but being it was from 1995, they're releasing it. I was going to grab it because it's going to be up my alley, and bam, really, really dope. I had heard a couple tracks from these guys, but I did not know that they actually had a full album. And I think this actually is the debut release. I don't think this is a reissue. I think this is actually a shelved album that got released, I think. So that's probably why so didn't really know anything about it, but that is really good. Another one that I've been after for a long time. I actually passed on an original copy of this years ago. And this one always kind of pissed me off, though, because it's one of those 90s albums that was basically sent in the record state. I don't know why. There should be explicit copies of this, but I think some of the songs aren't edited. But anyways, you know how it goes in the 90s. But Live Poets, What's It All About? Good shit, man. Love this one. I had this one downloaded forever. Made my own copy of this way back in the day and shit. But I was just so happy to finally see an official copy or get a reissue for a good price. So they're paying those ridiculous prices. Speaking of albums, shelved albums that, man, I've been waiting for so fucking long. So long. And that is World Renown. Oh my God. I have been waiting for this album for so fucking long to come out. So basically the stories with this album, this was produced by Marley Marl and K-Def. And it got shelved. I can't remember who they were signed to, but it never came out. And I heard songs, obviously, through the years. This song's been leaked and stuff. But yeah. So anyways, here's World Renown, finally available to the public in a decent fucking price. And yeah, we're going to continue along here with the old school releases. We're going to get up to the 90s tapes now. Yeah, so the Youngsters' fourth album, which they just put out another album, which is crazy, which I actually did order because, complete this, but I'll Make You Famous. I love this album, 1995. I actually have an original tape still sealed. No shit. But yeah, I love this. It's got that 90s kind of boom bap, staticky sound. It's really good, man. I'm a big fan of this. In fact, I love all the Youngsters records. Their first 4 albums are awesome. But big up to, and actually, it's weird. So this is a digipack. I actually ordered the jewel case and I got sent a digipack. I was like, fuck, are you serious? Yeah. Oh, anyways. But Sons of Sam, you ought to know. Oh, this so good. So good, man. Oh my God. There's so many good, like Move Fakin', man. Do My Thang. There's some really fucking nice tracks on this, man. I was so ecstatic when this one came out. Got announced. I was like, that's crazy. Another banger from 90s tapes. Now, this, I almost shit myself on this one, man. So, Oh man, this is like this is a total grail. I can't even believe where 90s Tapes is getting the rights to release this shit, man. But another album produced by Molly Mall and K-Def, and that is Kamikaze. So of course that is Ellen Chiron. Yeah, really, really good stuff. There is a couple tracks on here that are not produced by, yeah, and this is pre Black Poet too, right? So from Screwball. So if you're wondering why they have the logo and stuff, so yeah, so KL and Charon, this is their group before they had Black Poet in the group and stuff like that. So, but yeah, really, really good stuff, man. I never thought I'd see the light of day on Kamikaze. This blew my mind. Blew my mind. This is still sealed. I do have an original copy of The King and I, Contemporary G Music, but I picked it up because it has a bunch of bonus tracks, and I think there's actually, someone was saying there's actually more than 3, so maybe there's some hidden tracks in here. But classic album, The King and I. Like I said, I have the original copy, but I was like, fuck it, I need the bonus tracks because I love this record. Everyone knows the song Tears. Good stuff. And now this was amazing. This was so cool to finally have a copy of this. Gemini, the Gifted One, Scars and Pain, EP that turned into like a very, very long release. It's got a lot of remixes and all that type of jazz on here. It's good shit, man. But Gemini, the Gifted One, another great one from 90 States. Now this was a big surprise. I did not see this one coming at all. Another album that was really, really hard to find an original copy for. They always went for crazy money, and that's Von Smith, Live a Spot in the City. And I actually just ordered the new Von Smith release, not the new, but old school release from Hip Hop Enterprise. It's actually in the mail right now. So more Von Smith along with some Lewis Parker stuff, which is awesome to get that throwback shit. But yeah, this is really fucking good, man. Like, I'm just so tired of saying it. Well, not tired of saying it's really good, but yeah, man. Oh, dude. Ilko, Heavy Hitters Volume 1. Dude, this is so good. So good. Oh, the Ilya, man. Gotta get it. There's some really fat tracks in here, man. 90s Tapes killing it. And you know what I've noticed about 90s Tapes that's crazy? Is that every time they release one, their hype sticker gets bigger. It's like now they're at the point where they're just covering up the whole screens. It's ridiculous. Yeah, now this right here, I was so stoked to see this get released because I actually remembered listening to a bunch of this stuff back in the day. And Seattle-based group called Pros and Concepts. And what is actually... Yeah, Everything Is Nice. Seattle-based group, and it's really fucking good, man. Like, this is not your, like, Sir Mix-a-Lot sound from Seattle. I don't know why. There's tons of Seattle groups that don't sound like Sir Mix... Actually, in fact, nobody sounds like Sir Mix-a-Lot except for Sir Mix-a-Lot. Boom Bap Project. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But, yeah, this is some really... This is one of my favorites of the year, man. Like, re-releases. Good shit. Along with this is amazing. Juice, the man. We got a whole Juice fucking album. Are you kidding me, man? It's amazing. It's amazing. So, Juice. Brainwash Projects, man. They actually called the Rise and Fall of Brainwash Project, yeah. So, this is really good. Really, really good. That's right, the last track on here dedicated to MC Shan. It's another banger from 90s Tapes here. And then we got Brass Tacks, Rush to the Planet, some Canadian hip hop here. Awesome. I just don't know how they're getting the rights to release this shit, dude. It's crazy. Like, so many people have asked me if, like, you know, Chopped Hearing is like legit and stuff. I'm, yeah, man, they're getting rights. They're working with the artist directly with all the releases and stuff. And then you got 90s Tapes where they're releasing this shit. I'm just like, the fuck. It's just I love to see the behind the scenes on some of these records that they're getting because it's blowing my mind. It's absolutely blowing my mind. The concept of apes, the classic collection. This is basically just a compilation, I believe it is really what it is. It's just all their, I think it's like a couple EPs and all their singles throughout the years and stuff like that they compiled, which is really amazing. Like Graffiti Lullaby, always remember that track. Check the Status. And it's mostly older stuff. There's a couple newer recorded songs, I think, from 2002, but it's mostly like all 90s, early 90s, like 93 to like 2002 or something like that. I do have an original copy of this, but I picked this up because my copy is beat to hell. I think this one does have a bonus track on there, and that's El Tariq's God Connections. Yeah, my copy is just hacked to shit, man. But it's an original copy that got a lot of play back in the day. Plus, it had a bonus track, so I was like, there, I can justify it. I can pay the fucking 20 euros or whatever the fuck it is for fucking one song. No, but yeah, it's just nice to have a better copy. And again, see, these are, you can tell these ones are older in the year because the hype stickers are smaller. And Street Poets, man, another one that I missed out back in the day. And I could have bought an original copy of this many times for decent price, something I really didn't want to pay. It was maybe a little bit higher, but I love this album, man. I love the Street Poets album. I've always loved this one. I actually made a playlist years and years ago of albums that I don't own that I want physical copies of, and this was one of them. Mad Pack was in there. I think Big Bear is still in there. That the one with that funny fucking album cover. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But that album is so fucking hard to find a physical copy of. But it's hilarious. It's the funniest album cover of all time. But I love that record though. Totally opposite than this. But yeah. But I actually, in that list, there was like 30 albums, and I think it's only down to like a handful. I've gotten like all of them. So that's all the 90s tape CDs that I picked up this year. Onto the old school Chopped Hearing releases, and we got the Party Poopers 93-94 Demos EP, which is really dope, man. Oh man, really good stuff from Party Poopers here. Good stuff. Then we got Mixture, the Potion 94-95 Volume 3. They'd already released 2 other volumes. Rest in peace to Mixture. He actually died when they were releasing these 3 and 4 volumes, which is crazy. It's basically his productions over them groups and shit. You see the Outsiders on there. Really, really good stuff, man. Case in the Party Pooper. Yeah, and here's Volume 4 from Mixture. I love these album covers too, man. They're great. Again, same type of thing. Yeah, really good stuff, man. Yeah, so then we got Rich Black presents the Shoebox Demos 93-97 EP, kind of in the same vein, production tips, and so cool to see Rich Black getting some fucking mad love here. See that Shades of Brooklyn Friends song on there? Political Thugs, good shit. And they got Rich Black presents the Sore Losers, Flip the Script, the 90s Demos EP. So we got Sore Losers here, which I did not know about. This was like completely a mystery to me, but that's pretty cool. And then this one, I'd never heard of this. I had never heard of this, and I was like, oh, it's in color. That's cool. So we got Manuel, Wrong Neck of the Woods. This was outstanding. This was really fucking good. I believe it's like, I wish they would put the years that they were supposed to. It's later 90s, I think. Really good shit here, man. One of my favorites of the year. This is another one that I absolutely loved, man. We got Lord Dankum in the mellow one. We got to all the blunts and the foaties. Blunts and foaties. That shit looks like some hardcore ass shit, but it's different than you think, man. But fuck with the flavor, funk with the flavor. Funk commercial MCs. Yeah, they were on that tip, man. Open mic in Brooklyn. This is really dope. Then we got MC Craze and DJ K Wiz Ready to Attack, the 1992 demos. Like if Chop Hearing is anything, man, they really, really fucking dig. No one is releasing this shit. Like most of the stuff has never had any type of wide release. Some of the stuff was tape only, sold out of trunks. Gotta read the descriptions on the website. Pretty cool stories in here. They actually have books that they compiled and put together about this stuff. Basementality, Kings and Kingdoms EP. This was solid. This was solid. But yeah, when you're really digging, man, you know, these were never widely released, man. So really good stuff. This is like early 90s stuff. Yeah, like really, really early 90s stuff. So holy shit, dude, this fucking stack is massive. All right. Well, let's get into some of the 2023 vinyl albums actually from this year. First up, I know this video is going to be so long. I apologize. We got Trifle the Funky Fucker, Dysfunctional, absolutely fucking banger of an album. Love this album to death. One of my favorites of the year, hands down. Oh, I loved it so much. Then we got The Good People with a Good Year. Vinyl only release. I think you can get Dysfunctional actually on CD. I saw someone actually post a CD, which I didn't know. But this one's vinyl only. Yeah, good stuff, man. Every time the good people put out some stuff, man, I am all over it because it's always dope. M-Ski is one of my all-time favorites. I love M-Ski's flow. Saint's a dope producer. It's good shit. This was one of the biggest shocks of the year, man. But Curious and the Cut Beatles, man. I love the Cut Beatles. But Curious George, man. Dude, over probably the best Cut Beatles beats they've ever done, in my opinion. It's so good. And Curious sounds like MF Doom on this. Like, if you don't like MF Doom, then you might not like this, but his flow sounds like MF Doom. Like, it's crazy. I said this in a post. And then I picked up this like a couple months later, the Boom Bap review volume 5, and MC Till was talking about this album, and he referenced the fact that it sounded like MF Doom, and I was like, that's crazy. I'm like, that's exactly what I fucking said, man. I'm like, that's crazy. Really good. This is outstanding release for Curious. I showed the CD earlier, but Math Universal vinyl, had to grab that because that is fucking awesome. Then we got AJ Suede and Televangel, of course, from Blue Sky Black Death production crew. Vinyl right here. Really good stuff, man. If you're a fan of Blue Sky Black Death, it actually doesn't sound anything like Blue Sky Black Death, to be honest, but really good vinyl release. Schoolie D's new album. Oh my god, dude, they fucked this up so bad with the mixing. I was like, this album cover is so dope. Schoolie D's always good, and it's pretty bad actually because like they fucked around and put some auto tune on his voice in a couple tracks, and it's like unlistenable at times. Like, it's brutal. There's a couple tracks on here that are really good. The song The Real Hardcore is really dope, man. It's got Ice-T and Chuck D on it and stuff like that, but if the first couple tracks on here, I'm like, why the fuck would they put auto? Like, I would love to remix this album, just take that out of the mix, keep Schoolie D's normal voice, and, you know, it's just his reverb voice. Come on, man. You're gonna fuck with Schoolie D like that. Speaking of old school crews that put out albums this year, brand new albums, Tough Crew dropped an album called Back by Dope Demand. I'm not sure, but I do get why they didn't put Popular Demand. There's a couple really decent tracks on here. For the most part, there's some songs on here that are kind of cornball. But it was just pretty cool to see Tough Crew actually put out an album this year, and I was like, I had to grab it because I'm like, I'm a big fan of the Tough Crew. So showed the CD earlier of Beneficence and Jazz Spastics. Here's the vinyl. Cool Keith, Mr. Controller on vinyl. Again, here's another album. This is the third one from Cool Keith that we're showing. Here's the fourth one, which is Serpent, with all produced by Real Badman. Now, this is a fucking good album. This is Cool Keith at its best right here. Real Badman is a dope producer, has put on a lot of really good stuff. And yeah, this is awesome. This is really, really good. Love Serpent. And then Ultramagnetic MC is Cool Keith and CG drop an album. What? Are we getting Ultramagnetic stuff in 2023? And this is like new shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Not gonna be for everybody. It's, again, it sounds different than all these albums. It's pretty crazy, but you know, it's just pretty cool to have some new Ultramagnetic MCs under that group name and shit. So pretty cool. Now, I believe this actually originally came out in 2022, but I think the vinyl dropped this year. Farewell, My Friend, dedication from Thes 1 to Double K. So fucking sad, man. The music is so incredible on this. I can't recommend this enough. Live band stuff. It's so heartbreaking to hear this, man, because like, you know, I don't know if we ever would have got another Putz album because they'd officially retired before Double K passed. With that said, we all know when hip-hop artists decide that they're going to retire, they never do. We've seen this with Too Short. We've seen this with Jay-Z. We've seen this with Malto. I think, didn't Logic just do that too? Didn't he just call it quits and put out an album again, read away? That's what I think I just read that. But anyways, my point is, this is very sad. It's really good. Farewell, My Friend. Rest in peace to Double K, man. It's fucking just super sad. Pseudo Intellectuals, Command Economy. Showed the CD. Here's the vinyl. Showed the CD of ITS, Aesop Rock. Here's the vinyl. Colored, very, very nice colored vinyl. Get into some old school issues from this year. So this was issued in 2023, which I was super stoked because I have the CD that came out years and years ago of Ill Biscuits, Chronicle of Two Losers. The CD is very valuable to have right now because it does have the other bonus tracks on it, which the vinyl does not have, 22 years on it and stuff. So But yeah, great fucking album. I love the Ill Biscuits record. It's so dope. This was an awesome release this year. I guess this is like a new. I put it in the old school because like there, even though there is like three new songs on here, but Ice-T, Legend of Ice-T is Crime Stories, and it's basically a compilation of his actual crime stories. So the track listings, it's not a greatest hits album, it's his crime stories. But man, look at this shit, dude. And his newer stuff, his newer crime trilogy that he did is really good, man. The songs are dope, dude. Like, Ice-T still got that shit, man. Law and Order, man, he be knocking out the fucking park, man. I love Ice-T. Always have, always will. Speaking of awesome reissues, because I never had the CD of this, man. I have an original tape, but funk your head up. I love this album, man, so much. I love this album. It's so good. Ultramagnetic MCs, man, back in the day were just so special. Like this album right here, Four Horsemen, those albums were just so monumental to me. Music on Vinyl put this out. Great release. So happy to finally have a record of that. So happy to see this finally get reissued. I mean, it was reissued a couple times recently, but it sold out right away. Respect the Classics dropped. Ice Cube's The Predator. Fantastic. So had to grab a copy of that. I grabbed the Sad Clown Bad Year collection of EPs. This is 9 to 12, so 9, 10, 11, and 12. I have all the CDs, but here's the vinyl. Yeah, it's reissued for this year. Really, really good stuff. That's the 4 EPs all put into this vinyl set, which is really awesome. So that's pretty cool. And I really like those EPs too. There's some good stuff on there. I was surprised to see this get a vinyl release, man. But Thrust, The Chosen Few, Canadian MC. This was Record Store Day in Canada, exclusive Canadian one. Whoa, shit. But yeah, big fan of Thrust, and you know I have original CD of this, but I had to grab it on vinyl, man. This is released by Return to Analog, and these are actually numbered. You can see that they're numbered out of 1,000. I got number 33. That's a low fucking number, man. That's crazy. So either because I didn't buy this right away, so maybe nobody knew it came out or no one bought it. I don't know because I never get shit like that. I don't care about numbers. I'm not a reseller, but yeah, I just couldn't believe I saw 33 on that. And then of course we got Shades of Culture, Mind State, fucking awesome, man. So cool. Shades of Culture. Getting a Record Store Canada release from Return to Analog, which is a Canadian label. They don't just do hip hop; they do a bunch of different genres and stuff. They do have some. They release the Rascals, Cash Crop and stuff. But this one is also number 2,000, and I got number 55, and I'm like, wow! Like I don't think I jumped on these right away. Like it's just the craziest thing that those numbers are so damn low, and I'm going to lose these. I got to put these down. It's the first little stack of old school ones. Here's a second stack. K Solo, I have actually not even listened to this yet. I do have the CD of this, but I love this record. Tell the World My Name, K Solo, awesome. So I just got this in, actually. So the I Am the Biography Nos record, Black Friday, Record Store Day, fucking release, whatever. They're starting to get so corny with we're gonna have a Record Store Day release every fucking month now. But yeah, this is the vinyl release for this, and it's got the track. It's got a few unreleased tracks. It's got some stuff. It's not necessarily what it was supposed to be, but we know these songs like Fetus and shit. Like Small World was on here though. I don't really understand this release because it's got songs from Lost Tapes, I Am, Nostradamus, of course. I Am, of course, and Nostradamus. It's got a couple unreleased. It's got some Lost Tapes, which I guess were supposed to be part of the original I Am release. So that's why they're here. Yeah, so interesting track listing. Pretty cool stuff. Picked up Ice-T's Power because I'm a big fucking Ice-T fan. I love me some Ice-T. I've got vinyl CDs of that, or tapes and CDs. So I picked up the newest Boombox, Yo Boombox. This is basically just kind of like disco era hip hop, electro hip hop, 79 to 83. I think this is the 5th one or the 4th one. I don't know. I have all the other ones too, but I love this shit, man. I'll throw this stuff on when I'm jamming out by myself in the studio here and mixing CDs and vinyl and shit. I'll throw this stuff on. Not too many of my friends actually like this era of hip hop, but I really I love it, dude. It's so crazy. Like I discovered this probably like in the early 90s, like this sound, and I was like, fuck, that's crazy. Yeah, it was just so different. But I've always been kind of an old school head. I love me some old school shit. So Yo Boombox from Soul Jazz Records, another one of the releases. We got the reissue for Three Feet High and Rising. Had to grab it, man, because like I got to support De La Soul. Rest in peace to Dave. Fuck me, I can't believe Dave passed away. That's just the craziest thing ever. They were actually working on a new record at the time, and I know there's a bunch of unreleased recordings, so that's pretty crazy. De La Soul is Dead reissue. Gotta have it, right? You gotta have it. So it's that. And then for the last stack here, holy fuck, dude. Blue Mind State, which I will pick up the reissue of the CD when I get around to it, but yeah, Blue Mind State. Stakes is High. Yeah. It's just so weird to hear a couple of tracks with shit that's cut out. Like, it's so strange, but yeah, Stakes is High, love Stakes is High. And then I picked up AOI Bionics. I actually picked up the other AOI album too, but I haven't got it in the mail. I don't know if it got lost or whatever. Might have to look into that. But so yeah, so this one right here, picked up. Also, I'm like, well, I might as well just end up getting all of them on vinyl. I used to have a copy of this, but my copy was not good. It was all fucked up. So I ended up picking up this one. Apparently this is on, I haven't actually opened it yet, but so Too Short's Born to Mac, the White Album. One of my favorite album covers there. I just love this album cover. It's so dope. It's so it's simplistic at its best. Not his best album by any means, but I love the album cover. I got rid of my other copy of this and I picked up this one. Basically, I swapped it out for the version with the new 7-inch on it and stuff like that. Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down and Love Me and Leave Me Alone remix. So yeah, I did have this, but like I said, I got rid of my other copy for pretty much what I paid for this. So it was like a swap. It's a pretty fucking good deal. To replace my bootleg that I picked up years ago of 6 Feet Deep, we've got the VPM release of Gravediggers. Absolutely fucking ridiculous record. We all know this. I don't have to say anything about the Gravediggers album. It's classic. And we got a couple 90s tapes releases. I don't buy a lot of I only buy the vinyls for the albums that like I really, really love. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't really love those ones, but but we got Jules, OC, one of my favorite albums of all time. OC is one of my favorite MCs of all time. I love OC with so much passion, and I love this album. And I also love this album with a passion, and that's Word Life, his first album, his debut from 90s tapes. Had to grab it. And this is one of my all-time favorites too, man. I love the KDF production on here. And I didn't buy the CD because I have the original CD. And I think I actually still have the original tape too. I have to look into that, but I did have it at one time. But anyways, Real Live, one of my I love, man, a lot of KDF production on this update, man. I just realized it's crazy. So the turnaround, the long-awaited Drama. What the fuck ever happened to Lario? Like, that guy needs to, his flow and his voice is just iconic to me, man. So dope. Kind of reminded me of Tim Dog, not in like lyric wise and stuff, but just the way he was. I don't know. It's interesting, but anyways, that is gonna do it for the update. And I just realized this has been really long, really, really fucking long. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave comments down below if you, I would say probably under 1% are still watching at this point. If you're still watching right now, give me a Charz and tell me what you're drinking, because no one ever watches at the end of my videos, even if they're 20 minutes, let alone an hour and a half. Like this part, ever since I accidentally cut off my video, has been 50 minutes. So yeah, we got this was a lot. So that's what I picked up for 2000. Oh shit, one more. Now this is a mystery to me. The De La Soul tape, 3 Feet High and Rising. Now I got to tell this story. I came home one day and had a box. Someone bought me this and sent it to me because I did not buy this. I have no idea who sent me this. If you are watching this and you sent me this, please let me know, because I need to thank you so much. It comes on the orange tape. I just don't know who fucking sent me this, man. There was no name on the return, nothing. It was bought through the company, and the company said, I'm assuming it was like import CDs or something like that. I don't know. But I have a tape. And I generally never buy like reissue tapes. Unless it's like a brand new 2000 whatever release, not a reissue. I do have a couple, but yeah, this is crazy, pretty crazy. So anyways, that's gonna do it for the update. I got to get out of here, guys, because it's been literally like, I feel like over an hour and a half for sure in this update. It's just nuts. So tell me what what you liked about the update, blah, blah, blah. I'll be back with the top 23 in the next video, so stay tuned for that. You guys all know my rules. I'll explain how I do my lists for people that have never watched one of my lists before. And I will talk to you guys then. Again, leave comments down below. I will respond. And it's good to be back. And I'll be back with some more updates here. Like, I got about 50, 60 updates worth of shit right here. And that's not even all of it. Like, there's stuff sitting right here. This is actually like all the Bruise Brothers stuff. It's ridiculous. I picked up so much. And I got another stack out in the other room that I'm still listening to. So anyways, guys, that is going to do it. And I will check you guys in the next video. 2023 top 23 albums. Deuces.